Welcome to the homestead, everyone. Quick intro. That's Moose, and that's Derby. You'll hear a lot of these two. You'll see a lot of these two, so I figured you'd like to see them before we get to seeing them everywhere without knowing who they are. This is the front garden beds. We're going to get a quick tour of these guys and see what I have going on in here. I have trimmed them back a lot, but I do still have a few things left in here. I've got a cabbage right here in this corner, onions, collards, sun chocolate tomato, that's a gazania, celery, a couple of small things that didn't even really make it, so we're not even going to focus on those. You can see how damaged my cabbage is. I'm about to pull that out and do something with it. And then over here I have yellow pear tomato. The yellow pears are so prolific. They're prolific growers. They're prolific fruiters. They have very hefty meat in their fruit. Oh, so yummy. Onions, I'm letting these onions bloom. I'm going to try to keep the seeds. Sugar snap peas, another tomato, that's another sun chocolate. My clematis, and then this is my little perennial herb bed. That's a yellow marigold right there. And then behind the marigold in the very back is oregano. Over here is spearmint. I've got a chive squeezed between the spearmint and the oregano. That's sage and echinacea. And then this is just my little, what we call frag bomb box, because it is actually a frag bomb box. And I just usually put pretty annuals in there to encourage bees, because we do have the honeybees. Y'all, this is the real deal. This is Derby all day, every day. Unbelievable. Excuse you, Moose? Really? Look at that face. This has been the challenge all summer long. Watering the farm. So as of right now, I currently take this beautiful baby to my house, which is just beyond that way, and fill up a bunch of buckets with water and bring it out here several times so that I make sure that I have water for everybody. Currently, I'm just going to walk around and grab my buckets. Yes, 5-gallon buckets, guys. Okay, funny story, guys. So Eagle is our livestock guardian dog, that beautiful white Akbash right there. His name is Eagle, and he hates anything in the sky. It is so funny. He barks at all birds, and this guy here, he will get up from a dead sleep and go barking. Funny guy. Hi, guys. Hi, girls. More water buckets. So ultimately, I end up with 3 5-gallons and then one, I think this is 20 or 25 gallons. Now, to fill them all up. Here we go on that trip. This right here is the most time-consuming part of it all. Well, maybe the second most time-consuming. I think the most time-consuming is hauling these 5-gallon buckets around the farm and watering the garden bed. I got a pretty good method now, though. I've been doing this since, I don't know, probably second week of June, and it's now the second week in September. We had a cool little setup on the farm for water, and it worked for about 2 weeks. So I'm excited to show you guys what our plan is and how we're gonna build it up, and I'm really excited to have water on the farm. Finishing up our last bucket, and then we'll be taking this all back over to the farm. Y'all ready for a ride? Here we go. I'm going to start with a quick tour of the garden because that's what needs the water the most. And so you guys can kind of get a little layout of what's going on. So we're starting with celery here. I got a few onions in here. First time ever growing onions. They didn't do that great, but you learn something new every year. This is also my first time growing celery, but guys, look at this. Like, it looks like store-bought celery. I'm so proud of myself. And then we have squash. Got a couple pieces that look like they'll be ready in a couple of days. I've got tomatoes, all kinds of different varieties. My hope is to actually can some of the tomatoes this year. A lot of things didn't make it throughout the summer. I did have some Thai basil. You can see that it's still here, but it's so small. I really struggled with getting my herbs out at a decent time. And I had them in too small of pots indoors. So next year will be better, is the plan. You see the tomatillos, lots and lots of tomatoes. That's a big, I'm not sure if that's a brandy wine or if that's a Caspian, but it's one of those pink heirloom tomatoes. My borage is blooming. Y'all, you should have seen this garden before I cleaned up all of these tomatoes and tomatillos. And then I've got this beautiful sunflower. And all I put on the borders this year was just nice, pretty plat flowers to encourage the bees. I've got gazanias and petunias and sweet williams. The sunflowers have been exciting. The green beans, as you can see, I've really been struggling with green beans. Things have been eating them. The birds have been coming like crazy. I can't keep the birds off this year. They've been eating my turkey food too, so that's going to be a challenge in and of itself. Marigolds. I've got a couple of pepper plants, but my pepper plants didn't do all that great either. Lessons learning. Nasturtiums. I've gazanias, verbenas, pansies. The pansies are so fun. Pansies can handle cold, unlike a lot of the other things that I have in here. Pretty much the same on the other side, mostly tomatillos. I've got a little bit of kale. I've got ground cherries. But these tomatillos are going to be ready to harvest any day now. All right, let me get to watering these babies. First round of watering done. All of those buckets are now empty, and all I got was about half of the garden bed. So, back to the house to fill up for round 2. Load number 3 of water. That's where our water will eventually be coming from. I've got the garden watered, but now it's time to water all the animals. The chickens still have some water. I'll have to check the turkeys, but I know that the goats are needing water. This should be my last load though. So everybody's been watered now, so I figured we'd go for a quick tour. This is Alex, Alexandrite. That's Turk, or turquoise. And then the cream colored is Hermie, because she's a hermaphrodite. She is the lucky one who gets to be with the boys. So moving on, this noisy one right here is Ebony. That's her dad. My beautiful beauty, that white one right there, that's Opal. And then the one right next to her is Onyx. And then next to Onyx is Obsidian. And then we'll come over here. You guys saw Eagle a little while ago. Good thing, because now he's in his nest in the very back. This little cutie pie here is Charms. That's Sandy. My 2 beautiful girls in there, that's Agate and Larimar. Those are my 2 milking does. This is the stanchion, and in the very, very near future, we will be building a milking shed because I will be milking over the winter time. Even in negative 30 degrees, I still want my milk so I can make my cheese. That's our hay in the back, our beehives. We're going to be harvesting the last little bit of honey in the very near future. And then over here are our turkeys and chickens or poultry. These are the turkeys that I incubated and hatched at the beginning of May. There's 1 tom and 6 hens. And then in here I have 5 hens and 2 toms. And we will be harvesting one of the toms for Thanksgiving dinner, and probably a couple of the hens too. We've been kind of back and forth on what we want to do with that. But once we're done with harvesting those guys, we will be combining these guys with those guys for the winter time, because it'll be next year before these guys will be ready to harvest. And then last but not least are the chickens. I got my one and only rooster here. I got a copper Moran hen, a Brahma. There's another Brahma. My 3 Easter eggers. There's my Black Star and Rhoda. She is my Polish, Rhoda Stewart. That's where that name came from. And then in there I have a Golden Wyandotte. She's becoming part of the family. We haven't gotten there yet. We're just working on it. And I cannot keep those dang sparrows out of there. It has been such a struggle. But now you've gotten the tour. Quick tour of the farm, all of the animals, all of the plants, all of the plants. There's Clifford, the red-boned coonhound. He just has a snaggle tooth, so his tongue is always sticking out. And then this over here is our little old lady, Lucky. Healer, Carolina mix. She barks and everybody else barks, but for the most part, this is what she does. All day, every day. She doesn't even get out of her bed to bark. She just barks. Thank you to everyone for coming on this tour with me on the homestead. Just wanted to give you a quick note. The alarm that you heard earlier in the video is my continuous glucose monitoring system. I have been a type 1 diabetic for 30 years, and I am connected to a CGM, and my CGM does send alarms to my phone, and currently my phone is what I use to record all of these videos, so you may occasionally hear those alarms. I also wanted to give a special quick thank you very much to the Hollands at Naked Gardener for encouraging me to start this journey. I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!